let us draw near to the cross. And what do we see? Our bloodlust, our demand for violence, our instrument of death. Yet no call for violent retaliation. No call for vengeance, which is what we might expect or do ourselves, but an offer of forgiveness. Our sinfulness, our desire for what we want and not what we need, our failure to recognize that we are beloved and so is everyone else we will ever look upon. Our separation, our violence, our wars, our divisions, our walls, our hoarding instead of sharing, our trust in our own deservedness while wagging our finger at others and believing in their undeservedness, our sin nails Christ to the cross. And what do we see? Arms open, forgiveness offered, no condemnation. Even today, we would call it a show of weakness. It's certainly no show of force, a lack of power. We would still look and see someone who seems weak, not fighting back, refusing to save himself. Well, hope is for the fools, right? The biggest and strongest ones with all the weapons always win anyway. Caesar's out there and Jesus is on the cross. But on this day, when we draw close to the cross, we don't look away too quickly. We sit with the pain and suffering. We enter into the suffering Jesus experienced. We mourn death and we grieve that Jesus had to die. And as we gaze upon the cross, we come to see that even in death, a new way of life is being shown by Jesus. That even in the midst of betrayal, forgiveness is possible. That even while receiving physical and emotional and spiritual and mental violence, there is no call for violent retaliation. There's an end to violence with an offer of love. And by that revelation, as we see the whole of humanity wrapped up in the whole of divinity, we come to we come to know that there is no suffering that Christ does not enter into. There is no suffering that Christ does not suffer with and for us in order for love and life to abound. You see, there's no place. The cross makes clear there is no place we can go. No pain too severe. No depression too immobilizing. No pit too deep. No physical distance or emotional distance, no pandemic, no isolation. There is no doubt that Jesus does not experience. There is no amount of deaths and lives lost, no unrelenting violence experienced here or far away. There is no heartache or heart attack. There is no ICU room or surgery waiting room. There is no bus crash filled with students and parents, and no bridge disaster that Jesus does not enter into. There is no experience of suffering that Christ has not suffered and that Christ does not suffer with us and for us. We We see brokenness experienced by being broken, death destroyed by dying. We see a faith that includes doubt and questions and uncertainty, and most of all, what we see when we behold the cross is a love from which there is no hiding and a love from which there is no separation. For the instrument of capital murder has become the life-giving cross on which was hung the Savior of the whole world. In God's paradoxical, mysterious way of foolishness, wiser than any wisdom, and weakness stronger than any might. So still we behold Jesus, arms open, forgiveness offered, no condemnation. You see, Christ takes all of our sin and hate into himself, and he offers back love and life for a world that God so loves, even as we reject it. Because the worst thing is never the last thing. So death, yes. And resurrection is next.